Spotify has been discussing details of its blueprint for the new royalty model with various music rights holders in recent weeks. Sources involved in those talks have now confirmed to that, although Spotify will continue with its pro-rata royalty system, aka StreamShare, it plans to make 3 specific major changes to its model. As one source put it, Spotify is planning to execute these changes in an attempt to combat 3 drains on the royalty pool, all of which are currently stopping money from getting to working artists. In short, the 3 changes are: 1. Introducing a threshold of minimum annual streams before a track starts generating royalties on Spotify, in a move expected to demonetize a portion of tracks that previously absorbed 0.5% of the service's royalty pool. 2. Financially penalizing distributors of music, labels included, when fraudulent activity is detected on tracks that they've uploaded to Spotify, and 3. Introducing a minimum length of playtime that each non-music noise track must reach in order to generate royalties. Today's news comes a month after Deezer and Universal Music Group jointly announced their new experimental, artist-centric, royalty model, which is set to premiere for UMG artists in France this month, October. We'll leave for another time the debate over whether one of Deezer or Spotify influenced the other, or if one set of royalty model changes is better than the other. 1. Introducing a threshold of minimum streams before a track starts generating royalties on Spotify. Today, every play on Spotify over 30 seconds long triggers a royalty payment. This won't be the case by early next year. Starting in Q1 2024, each track on Spotify, under the DSP's new plans, will have to reach a minimum number of annual streams before it starts generating royalties. Our sources weren't willing to specify the exact number of streams that will inform this threshold, but we were told by one source involved in recent talks that the move is designed to demonetize a population of tracks that today, on average, earn less than 5 cents per month. This would suggest that for these tracks to generate 5 cents per month in royalties, they would need to generate 17 plays a month, or around 200 plays a year. Spotify says tracks that currently represent 99.5% of StreamShare will continue to monetize after these changes, confirmed one well-placed source. So why is Spotify specifically targeting a relatively tiny proportion of tracks on its service that are very low popularity and very low revenue generating? Because when you're talking about an industry where 100,000 tracks or more are being uploaded to streaming platforms daily, the amount of money being paid out to these tracks cumulatively results in a substantial sum. In aggregate, the tracks Spotify is targeting here generate royalties that add up to tens of millions of dollars a year, and that number is only growing, one source told MBW. Next year, without taking this action, Spotify thinks they would have generated around $40 million. This targets those royalty payouts whose value is being destroyed by being turned into fractional payments, pennies or nickels, said one source close to discussions. Often, these micropayments aren't even reaching human beings. Aggregators frequently require a minimum level of paid-out streaming royalties before they allow indie artists to withdraw the money. We're talking about tracks whose royalties aren't hitting those minimum levels, leaving their Spotify royalty payouts sitting idle in bank accounts. This one's gonna be fun. Spotify believes it has the most sophisticated anti-fraud detection technology of any streaming platform, and it's not afraid to use it. Witness the moment back in May when Spotify pulled tens of thousands of tracks off its service because it had credible evidence that said tracks were being streamed illegitimately, either via AI tools or via human so-called stream farms. Sometimes, those turning to such methods are indie artists, or indeed larger labels, looking to illegitimately boost their stream count or their chart placings via Spotify. At the darker end of this practice, however, some suggest that organized criminal gangs are now uploading AI-made music to streaming services like Spotify before attempting to use artificial streaming methods to siphon off royalties from the platform's payouts pool. In every case of this practice, honest artists and rights holders miss out on Spotify royalties, which are instead paid to those gaming the system. So, aside from continuing to invest in fraud detection tech, what's Spotify going to do about this problem in Q1 2024? Whenever Spotify detects a track with a play count boosted by flagrant artificial streaming fraud, it will continue to remove said track from its catalog, just as it does today. However, in addition, from Q1 2024, it's planning to charge the distributor of that track a monetary penalty. Spot hopes this will act as a deterrent for disties, including labels, from continuing to distribute tracks from known bad actors. This is a per-track enforcement penalty whenever flagrant artificial streaming is detected, clarifies a source close to the situation. By penalizing this kind of activity at the point of distribution, Spotify wants to create a deterrent both for the bad actors, but also for the distributors enabling those bad actors. 3. Introducing a minimum length of time that non-music noise tracks must reach in order to generate royalties. This one is clever. Today, as had been seen in a number of notable cases, makers of non-music noise content, e.g. white noise, binaural beats, whale song, etc., get paid the same as every other creator of music on Spotify. One way said, non-music noise content uploaders have made the most of that fact by splitting the noise playlists into 31-second tracks. The information hasn't yet been able to confirm with our sources exactly what this minimum unit of time will become. But for the sake of a helpful example, let's say it's 4 minutes. In this scenario, a playlist of white noise tracks, currently at 31 seconds long apiece, would, in order to qualify for Spotify monetization, have to be taken down, then split into 4-minute-long tracks, then re-uploaded. But here's the clever thing. That same playlist, for the same number of hours of sleep or focused work it previously accompanied, would now only generate 1/8 of what it previously generated under Spotify's 31-second payment model, i.e. each royalty payment would take 8 times longer to register than it does currently. Spotify understands that noise is an important category for some consumers. A lot of people sleep to it, work to it, or meditate to it, said a source close to Spotify's current talks with rights holders. Noise is a small percentage of Spotify streams today, say our sources, but as the platform's overall royalty pool has grown into multiple billions of dollars per year, it's a category starting to represent more and more revenue. Spotify has seen some uploaders game this system with the 31-second tracks trick. Spotify's approach to noise content here is notably less aggressive than the strategy taken up by Deezer under its artist-centric model, which will see all non-music noise content on the platform completely demonetized.